The sprawling, glass-clad headquarters of Oscorp in New York City, a fortress of questionable corporate innovation, was violated by a brazen act of technological larceny. A massive, blaring emergency alarm signaled that the Beetle, a mercenary clad in gleaming high-tech armored plating, had successfully executed a daring Great Garden heist, stealing a rare glowing seed from Oscorp's highly secure rooftop botanical research facility. This wasn't any seed. According to classified documents that immediately went viral on the dark web, this seed was genetically engineered to possess infinite energy potential upon germination, promising a power source that could either save the world or utterly consume it. Spider Man, swinging into the chaotic scene, his spider sense screaming a catastrophic warning, arrived just as the Beetle made his escape across the rooftops. Seriously, Beetle? You couldn't just steal a taxicab? You had to mess with Norman's crazy plant projects? He muttered, pursuing the green armored villain. The pursuit ended abruptly in a derelict industrial park when, in his haste, the Beetle fumbled the highly unstable seed. The moment the seed hit the damp earth of a cracked asphalt parking lot, it immediately began to germinate with terrifying speed. Within seconds, it ballooned into a living, overgrown monster plant, a colossal, serpentine entity of thorny vines and massive, pulsating, sickly green blossoms, rapidly consuming the surrounding infrastructure. The power without compassion always grows out of control, and this plant was the ultimate proof. Spider Man realized the crisis had escalated from a simple chase to a full blown ecological catastrophe. The plant, fueled by the seed's infinite energy potential and the polluted urban soil, was consuming everything in its path and threatening to overwhelm the city. Landing near the periphery of the rapidly expanding botanical horror, he found his ally, Bulbasaur, already on the scene, circling the monstrous plant with profound distress. Bulbasaur's natural plant instincts were reeling from the sight of such violent, uncontrolled growth, and his bulb pulsed erratically, emitting a weak, harmonizing glow that was immediately overwhelmed by the plant's chaotic energy. Bulbasaur! The Pokemon cried out, indicating the monster plant was not just growing, but feeding, drawing raw energy and nutrients from every patch of soil and structure it touched. Spider Man quickly assessed the situation, realizing that direct force was useless. Any attempt to cut or burn the plant would only trigger a faster, more volatile growth reaction, instantly using the energy of the attack to grow larger. The beetle, meanwhile, seeing his prize transformed into a destructive force, decided to adapt. He began using his sonic cannon to control the sprawling monster plant, attempting to tame it into a weapon to escape Spider Man, rather than trying to destroy it. A living weapon! Even better! The beetle shrieked, aiming his cannons. This created a chaotic, unstable scenario where the monstrous plant was thrashing wildly, momentarily controlled by the beetle's sonic pulses, but constantly threatening to explode into an uncontrollable frenzy. Okay, bud, new plan, Spider-Man communicated urgently, leaping onto a collapsing water tower. We can't hit the plant, and we can't let Beetle control it. We have to strike the seed at its core, source of the infinite energy, before it consumes the entire city. But the core is deep inside that botanical monstrosity. They devised a risky strategy that played entirely on their unique strengths. Spider-Man would climb the walls of the monster, using his agility and webbing to create structural weak points and divert the beetle's attention, while Bulbasaur would calm the roots, using his natural energy to seek out the core and create a pathway from within. Spider-Man began his ascent, firing specially coated non-toxic webs into the monstrous plant's thick, armored skin, pulling sections apart to give Bulbasaur access to the internal network of roots. The ascent was perilous. The plant was sentient, aware of the intrusion, and its thorny, crushing vines whipped violently at the hero, forcing him into impossible acrobatics. The beetle, distracted by Spider-Man's rapid movements, aimed his sonic cannon at the hero, missing and hitting the plant, which reacted with a furious, uncontrolled surge of growth, momentarily trapping the beetle in a tangle of new, aggressive vines. Meanwhile, Bulbasaur, braving the claustrophobic dark network beneath the plant, channeled a powerful, continuous pulse of harmonizing grass energy into the roots. He was using his power not to destroy, but to soothe, forcing the plant to momentarily slow its growth and revealing the path to the central seed. The deep, resonating hum of the seed's infinite power was almost deafening in the subterranean darkness, pulling at Bulbasaur's own life force. He found the core, a massive obsidian black root structure housing the rapidly expanding, dangerously unstable glowing seed. The seed pulsed with an ominous light, absorbing and radiating energy in equal measure, threatening to detonate the entire plant and surrounding block. Bulbasaur knew he couldn't use a powerful blast. It would trigger the infinite energy and cause a cataclysm. He needed a precise, surgical neutralization. He channeled his most concentrated, purest solar beam, not as a ray of destruction, but as a beam of focused, stabilizing light, aimed at the outer membrane of the unstable seed. The solar beam struck, not with an explosion, but with a high-pitched, resonant whine. The massive plant structure shuddered violently, and the seed, unable to process the highly focused, pure energy, began to slowly dissipate, its infinite energy being safely absorbed and neutralized by Bulbasaur's stabilizing force. Above ground, the massive monster plant began to deflate, its immense size shrinking rapidly, its aggressive vines dropping harmlessly to the asphalt. The beetle, freed from the collapsing plant, was immediately webbed by Spider-Man. The crisis was averted, the infinite energy source neutralized, and the city was safe. Bulbasaur, utterly exhausted but triumphant, emerged from the now deflated plant structure, which had harmlessly dissolved into a large pile of healthy, rich compost. They had defeated the ultimate weapon by understanding that true power lies in control and compassion, not chaotic ambition. Their victory was a testament to the fact that power without a moral compass inevitably turns into self-destruction. Life lesson: power without compassion always grows out of control. The story teaches that unchecked ambition and the pursuit of raw, limitless power, when divorced from empathy and control, inevitably lead to self-destruction. The true act of heroism lies not in wielding the greatest force, but in having the compassion and focus to stabilize and neutralize chaos, proving that moral clarity is the most powerful control mechanism of all. The sprawling concrete jungle of New York City, usually a symphony of growth and vitality, was interrupted by a strange ethereal silence that rippled outward from the subway tunnels, initiating a profound ecological crisis. A strange voice started whispering through the plants of New York, asking for help, a sound audible only to those highly attuned to the environment. Spider-Man, alerted by his spider sense, a low humming static that spoke of a widespread non-physical threat, felt the city's green spaces vibrating with an unnatural energy. He heard the distress calls not through his comms, but through the leaves and roots he brushed against, a soft, persistent plea for salvation and recognition. He tracked the source of the whispers to a massive, unused subway line far beneath Central Park, where the city's underground route network converged. Meanwhile, Bulbasaur, the city's quiet guardian of natural balance, was profoundly distressed. His bulb pulsed violently, interpreting the whispers as a cacophony of overlapping emotional and botanical distress. He felt the overwhelming sadness and confusion of the collective plant life. He and Spider-Man converged on the subway entrance, recognizing that the crisis was fundamentally one of communication and imbalance. They followed the escalating whispers deep underground, the voices growing louder, clearer, and more desperate, guiding them through abandoned, echoing tunnels. The air grew thick with a rich, moist earth scent and a strange, powerful chlorophyll aroma. They finally emerged into a colossal, forgotten subterranean chamber, where they found the source of the plea: an underground greenhouse. It wasn't built by humans. The walls were woven from ancient living roots and reinforced with massive glowing fungi. At the center of this incredible hidden sanctuary pulsed a vast shimmering nexus of tangled roots, covered in thousands of small bioluminescent blooms, sentient network of plants that was broadcasting its plea. It was a single conscious entity, which communicated not through sound waves, but through shared emotional resonance and biological commands. The network, which identified itself simply as the heart root, greeted them with a unified, sorrowful message that echoed in both their minds. We need help. We are dying. The air above is poisoned. You must let us save you. Spider-Man, his logical mind reeling from the sheer scale of the sentient intelligence, cautiously approached the heart root. The network showed them visions, scenes of a polluted, smog-choked future, scenes of deforestation, and images of human neglect destroying the planet's ability to breathe. Their goal, the heart root explained, was to save humanity by taking over oxygen control, to seal the surface world, lock down the planet's atmosphere, and regulate it from the safety of their subterranean fortress, preventing humans from further destroying the balance. We must remove the chaos humanity to save the system life. We must ensure coexistence by removing the choice to destroy, the heartroot projected, its voice shifting from a plea to a firm, non-negotiable command. Suddenly, the entire chamber rumbled. Massive, powerful roots began cracking through the tunnel ceilings, extending towards the city's surface air filtration centers, preparing to deploy a powerful biological barrier, a complete, instantaneous atmospheric lockdown. The network was not malicious. It was desperate and fundamentally terrified by the destructive chaos of the surface world. They were protecting themselves with total, terrifying control. Spider-Man knew that a total atmospheric lockdown would suffocate millions and plunge the city into instant chaotic fear, ending all life as they knew it. The true enemy wasn't an evil plan. It was misguided, overwhelming fear. He immediately focused on the main root conduits preparing to breach the surface. His webbing, powerful as it was, couldn't stop the biological inevitability of the sentient network's command. Bulbasaur, we can't fight it. It's too big, too scared. We have to teach it. Spider-Man urgently communicated, pointing at the massive, pulsating heart root. Bulbasaur, sensing the heart root's powerful, singular motivation, nodded gravely. He realized the plant network needed more than that defense. It needed understand and reassurance. They wouldn't fight the roots, they would teach the network coexistence. Spider Man began the logical argument, projecting images and thoughts into the network. Visions of scientists working to reverse pollution, images of conservation efforts, the beauty of shared community gardens, and the potential for a symbiotic relationship between humans and nature. He argued that the world was not defined only by its chaos, but by its choice to heal. Meanwhile, Bulbasaur, recognizing his role as the mediator, poured his most pure, harmonizing grass energy into the base of the heart root. He unleashed a slow, powerful song of empathy, a biological pulse that projected feelings of shared purpose, responsibility, and the beauty of free will. He showed the network that true strength lay not in removing chaos, but in trusting in the potential for good, trusting the balance, and trusting humanity's capacity for change. The heartroot convulsed violently, its luminescent blooms flickering as the logic of self preservation clashed with the powerful emotional resonance of empathy and coexistence. The network was overwhelmed by the concept of choice to destroy, but also the choice to nurture and protect. The final decision was agonizing. The massive roots that were moments from breaching the surface slowly, hesitantly retracted, dissolving back into the earth. The atmosphere was saved. The heart root, now calmed and weakened from the internal conflict, communicated a final, profound message. We understand the lesson. Control is not necessary for survival. But you must teach the others, you must teach the surface world that listening is the first step to true coexistence. The underground sanctuary settled into a peaceful, gentle hum, its terrifying power now transformed into a quiet, nurturing presence, a benevolent guardian watching over the world's deep roots. Spider Man and Bulbasaur emerged from the tunnels, blinking in the sunlight, triumphant but humbled. They had faced a foe who was motivated by the purest form of fear, and they had defeated it not with force, but with empathy and education. Their Pokemon story time was a testament to the fact that the greatest conflicts are often born of profound misunderstanding. And the only way to heal a fractured world is by listening to the voices that sound different from your own. Life lesson. Listening is the first step to understanding, even when the voice sounds different. The story teaches us that profound conflicts often stem from fear and misunderstanding, especially when dealing with forces that seem alien or overwhelming. True strength lies in empathy and the willingness to seek true communication, to listen to the concerns of others, even if their methods or perspectives seem dangerous, and to teach coexistence rather than imposing control.